Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Edward Norton. A portrait of the reluctant Hollywood icon Edward Norton has long stood as one of Hollywood's most enigmatic and intellectually driven performers, an actor whose intensity, intelligence, and uncompromising commitment to craft have made him one of the most respected figures of his generation. Known for his transformative roles, selective project choices, and sharp creative instincts, Norton continues to shape the industry with the quiet force of someone who has nothing to prove but everything to express. Early life and education. Born August 18, 1969, in Boston, Massachusetts, and raised in Columbia, Maryland, Edward Harrison Norton grew up in a family that valued both social engagement and the arts. His father, Edward Mower Norton Jr., was an environmental lawyer and conservation advocate, while his mother, Lydia Robinson, Rouse, was a teacher and foundation executive. Norton's interest in acting emerged early. At age 5, he watched a play at the Columbia Center for Theatrical Arts and felt an immediate calling. By high school, he was performing in local productions, and after enrolling at Yale University, he majored in history while continuing to act and study Japanese. Yale gave him a rigorous intellectual foundation, but the stage remained his true compass. A stunning Hollywood debut. Edward Norton's arrival in Hollywood ranks among the most remarkable in modern film history. His breakthrough came in 1996 with Primal Fear, in which he played a timid altar boy entangled in a murder case. His chameleon-like performance and shocking character twist captivated audiences and critics alike, earning him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor, a rare achievement for a debut role. This performance immediately marked him as an actor of uncommon talent, capable of complexity far beyond his years. Expanding range and defining roles throughout the late 1990s and early 2000s, Norton delivered a series of bold, uncompromising performances that cemented his legend. American History X, 1998, as reformed neo-Nazi Derek Vineyard. Norton provided one of the most harrowing and emotionally charged performances in contemporary cinema. His muscular physical transformation and raw vulnerability earned him his second Academy Award nomination, this time for Best Actor. Fight Club, 1999. Norton's turn as the unnamed narrator in David Fincher's cult classic showcased his mastery of psychological depth and dark humor. Alongside Brad Pitt, he anchored a film that grew from a controversial release to a generational touchstone. Other noteworthy performances: The People vs. Larry Flynt, 1996, Rounders, 1998, The Score, 2001, 25th Hour, 2002. One of his most critically acclaimed roles, The Illusionist, 2006, Moonrise Kingdom, 2012, and other collaborations with Wes Anderson. Birdman, 2014, where he played a satirical version of himself and earned another Oscar nomination, whether in gritty dramas, psychological thrillers, or whimsical ensemble films. Norton brought his signature combination of precision, nuance, and quiet intensity. Ventures behind the camera. Edward Norton is not only an accomplished actor but an ambitious filmmaker. His directorial debut, Keeping the Faith, 2000, revealed his interest in warm, philosophical storytelling. Nearly 2 decades later, he returned to the director's chair with Motherless Brooklyn, 2019, a passion project he adapted, produced, directed, and starred in. The film showcased his meticulous attention to detail and long-standing love of classic noir. The reputation of a perfectionist, Norton is known in Hollywood as a passionate perfectionist. He often rewrites scripts, contributes to editing discussions, and insists on deeply collaborative filmmaking. While this has sometimes sparked stories about his assertiveness on set, particularly during his involvement with The Incredible Hulk, 2008. It has also reinforced his image as an artist determined to uphold quality over convenience. Philanthropy and personal values deeply influenced by his parents, Norton is heavily engaged in humanitarian and environmental causes. He has supported wildlife conservation initiatives, renewable energy projects, affordable housing organizations, historical and cultural preservation efforts. He is also involved in socially conscious tech and served on the board of organizations focused on sustainability and global development. An actor who values the work over the spotlight. What sets Edward Norton apart is his deliberate distance from celebrity culture. He rarely gives personal interviews, maintains a private family life, and chooses projects based on interest rather than fame. This restraint has only enhanced his mystique. For many, Norton represents the rare Hollywood figure who treats acting solely as an art, never as a spectacle. Legacy. Edward Norton's career spans genres, decades, and artistic disciplines. He is equally at home in a searing drama, a cerebral thriller, or an eccentric indie film. Above all, Norton embodies the ideal of the thinking actor, one who challenges himself, his colleagues, and his audience. Edward Norton. Expanding the portrait of a modern acting craftsman, a childhood rooted in curiosity and social awareness. Edward Norton's upbringing shaped his worldview as much as his artistic inclinations. Raised in Columbia, Maryland, a community founded on principles of equality and diversity, he grew up in an environment that encouraged open-mindedness. His grandfather, James Rouse, was a famed urban planner and philanthropist, influencing Norton's lifelong interest in social issues and civic responsibility. This background instilled in Norton a sense of introspection and empathy, qualities that later became central to his acting style. He developed an early talent for mimicry, accents, and emotional observation, hinting at the transformative performer he would become. Early career, determination and discipline. After graduating from Yale in 1991, Norton moved to Japan to work briefly for his grandfather's company. But acting remained his true ambition. He soon relocated to New York City, immersing himself in the off-Broadway theater scene. Casting directors took note of his discipline and ability to capture complex psychological layers, but no one anticipated the meteoric rise that followed his film debut. His audition for Primal Fear famously overwhelmed the filmmakers. Norton played the role in multiple accents and demonstrated an uncanny ability to shift personalities in an instant. This kind of range would become a hallmark of his career. The trademark Norton presence, intelligence, and inner turmoil. Edward Norton's characters often share a particular intensity, one born not from loudness but from simmering internal conflict. Audiences are drawn to his ability to convey intellect, vulnerability, and moral ambiguity all at once. Key elements of Norton's signature style: transformative ability, physical, vocal, and emotional psychological precision, portraying characters with internal contradictions; understated charisma, quietly compelling rather than openly theatrical; moral complexity, gravitating toward flawed, conflicted, or enigmatic figures, whether it's a reformed extremist, a beaten corporate drone, or a genius with questionable ethics. Norton infuses each role with a sense of lived-in authenticity. A deep creative collaboration with filmmakers throughout his career, Norton has built strong working relationships with visionary directors. With Spike Lee, his role as Monty Brogan in 25th Hour remains a high point in both of their careers. Norton's nuanced portrayal of a man facing the consequences of his mistakes added raw humanity to Lee's bold direction. With David Fincher, Fight Club showcased Norton's ability to anchor a film that is both philosophical and anarchic. Fincher praised him for his ability to embody authenticity even amid surreal or provocative material. With Wes Anderson, Norton has appeared in several Anderson films, including Moonrise Kingdom, The Grand Budapest Hotel, and Asteroid City. His precision and dry wit complement Anderson's whimsical, meticulously crafted worlds. The Marvel chapter. Creative disagreement and lasting impact. Norton's portrayal of Bruce Banner in The Incredible Hulk, 2008, was widely praised. He approached the character as a dramatic role rather than a typical superhero figure, emphasizing Banner's internal struggle and trauma. Norton also contributed to rewriting elements of the script to give the film more emotional weight. However, creative disagreements between Norton and Marvel Studios ultimately led to him being replaced by Mark Ruffalo. Norton later clarified that the split stemmed from differing visions for the film's tone, not from personal conflict. Despite the controversy, his performance remains a memorable and more introspective interpretation of the character. Motherless Brooklyn. A personal passion realized. Few projects illustrate Norton's artistic philosophy better than Motherless Brooklyn, 2019. Norton spent nearly 20 years developing the film, adapting it, directing it, and starring in it. Set in a meticulously recreated 1950s New York, the film blends noir style with sharp social commentary about power and corruption. The project demonstrated his meticulous attention to detail, his respect for classic filmmaking, and his commitment to storytelling that challenges audiences. Though not a mainstream blockbuster, it earned respect for its ambition and craftsmanship. Awards, honors, and industry recognition across his career. Edward Norton has received multiple accolades, including 3 Academy Award nominations, Golden Globe Award for Primal Fear, BAFTA and SAG nominations, numerous critics awards. Beyond acting, he has earned accolades for his environmental activism, including recognition from conservation and global development organizations. Personal life, privacy, stability, and creative freedom. Unlike many Hollywood stars, Norton intentionally avoids the limelight. He rarely discusses his private life but is known to maintain close relationships with family and a small circle of industry peers. He is married to producer Shauna Robertson, and they have a son. Norton is known for valuing personal stability and intellectual curiosity, often prioritizing meaningful experiences over public exposure. Norton's influence on modern cinema. Edward Norton's impact on contemporary acting is significant. 1. He popularized the cerebral anti-hero. Characters like his Fight Club narrator and American History X's Derek Vineyard influenced an entire generation of darker, introspective protagonists in film and television. 2. He inspired respect for the actor as a creative collaborator. His insistence on participating in writing and editing processes, while sometimes controversial, helped normalize actors taking larger creative roles. 3. He bridged indie sensibilities with mainstream success. Norton demonstrated that deeply philosophical, character-driven performances could still thrive in big studio films. Conclusion. A career defined by integrity. Edward Norton remains one of cinema's most compelling actors because he refuses to compromise artistic integrity. He chooses roles that challenge him, works tirelessly to refine the material, and brings a rare seriousness to each performance. Though he avoids the spotlight, his work speaks for itself, boldly, intelligently, and with profound emotional resonance. Few modern actors combine technical mastery, moral vision, and artistic daring quite like Edward Norton. His legacy continues to grow with each new project, solidifying his status as one of the most distinguished performers of his time. Edward Norton. further exploration of a singular career, a performer drawn to characters at war with themselves throughout his career. Norton has gravitated toward characters carrying invisible burdens, individuals struggling with identity, trauma, ideology, or moral ambiguity. This fascination with inner conflict has shaped the emotional architecture of his performances. Why Norton excels at troubled characters. He brings an intellectual curiosity, often researching psychological conditions, historical context, or behavioral patterns. His performances are rooted in understatement. Norton rarely overacts, instead allowing subtle gestures and micro-expressions to reveal turmoil. He has an instinct for complex empathy, playing even reprehensible characters with a humanizing depth. This ability makes him a natural fit for stories that challenge conventional heroism. Behind the scenes, Norton's reputation as a creative craftsman within the industry. Norton's creative rigor is both admired and feared. Directors often praise his sharp instincts, while studios acknowledge that he holds unusually high standards. Edward Norton's known working traits: script surgeon. He often rewrites scenes, strengthens dialogue, or restructures emotional arcs. Editorial focus. He has reportedly attended editing sessions to ensure narrative integrity. Detail obsession. From costumes to props, Norton likes to understand every piece of the story world. Immersive research. For American History X, he trained intensely and studied extremist psychology. For Motherless Brooklyn, he learned the nuances of Tourette syndrome from specialists and individuals living with it. This commitment reflects a philosophy: art should be true.
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.